got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it.
Today, so why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself, bro?
All right, Ramsey Rawson. That's who I am. That's who I go by if you see me in the streets. I'm from the 617, Dorchester, born and raised. Now I'm living in Lowell. I'm out of Lowell right there. And yeah, I'm the president CEO of Present Clothing.
So, talk about that, right? You blessed me with a shirt.
Yes, sir.
When
You got
last
our
time
Present
you came.
Gallery shirt on right now, looking mighty fresh, my brother, I must say.
Absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah. So that was on our second drop that we released one of those. And yeah, like I said, I've started my my brand over 3 years ago, and I just been gunning it. You know what I mean? Since day one, hitting the ground running, bump, 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 knocking them down like pins.
So what was the inspiration behind starting it? Like what was your why?
My why was to really put the world together. You know what I'm saying? Patch it up, and really try to put the world together in a sense where it's like there's a whole bunch of fighting, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world, so much tyranny, and we just gotta get back to ourselves, right? Sometimes the world we live in, it's always about, you know, get up in the morning, grind, and we don't got time to really sit down with our family. By the time we do that, it's too late. They in the grave somewhere, or you somewhere in a job that you don't like even being into in the first place. Absolutely. So that's what my whole thing about that was, being present in the moment. And I think when I was on my whole spiritual journey, I struggle with being present because I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini, so I'm very spacey by nature. So I'm always thinking about 3 steps ahead, and I'm not really present. So when I was on my spiritual journey, I started focusing on meditating, being more mindful about the moment. So that's what really started it, and also drew inspiration from my brother, Marcel. Shouts out to him. Gray Hair Wear, and Tomorrow Needs You. That's his organization. And it started basically, I was coming over there, he's like, yo, boss is cool, but you need to spread your word out here. You need to at least bless the president, see what's out here in LA. He's out in Vegas. So I was like, I'm sliding over there. So I slid over there, and he brought me to a t-shirt shop. And then he showed me like people making good money off this. So I didn't even realize that like people do make money off this, a market that like people get into, the whole fast fashion scene and stuff. Didn't occur to me. So I got the idea, like, let me try to do a shirt for myself. And I had a poem up front. And then he's like, yo, that's just fire. And then the back it said, your presence matters. So since then, that's what really sparked it. And just drawing inspiration from my brother, his organization surrounds about suicide prevention and mental health awareness. He had lost his daughter back in 2015 due to suicide. He made it his mission from that point on to just raise awareness with mental health and know that everybody else, victims that are involved in suicide, have a place to go to, you know. So he was a voice for those people, and I was inspired by that, and I used that to kind of fuel this business that I have now.
Wow. So was fashion, was that something you were always into? Like, what are some of your inspirations as far as like maybe clothing lines that you look to maybe model after or inspired by, anything like that? I know what's his Nipsey, rest in peace, had something going on with his marathon clothing. And so to talk about some of your inspirations and brands that you kind of.
So I started my whole fashion stuff. I started back when I was a jit. Like, I was mad young, and I want to say I started realizing that my mom was getting me fresh before I even knew I was getting myself dressed in. I had Southpaw, you know what I'm saying? I had Polo. I was dripped down, Ralph Lauren, all the good stuff, even Prada and all that stuff. And I was the unique kid, you know, dressing with the fly shit. And so I guess being a fashion dude from the start was the driving force to get me here, you know? I drew inspiration from all the moguls like Pharrell, even Russell Williams at one point, and so many different people as well, like, you know, even Kanye, when he dropped the red, I think it was the Yeezys, the first Yeezys, but he was obsessed with Louis Vuitton in the red Octobers. Just every single year, every generation had its thing. And I was like, yo, that's dope. It groundbreaking. So I love being different, and I'm an artist at heart. So seeing people recognizing that clothes is art, I wanted to be to that. I wanted to gravitate to that. I wanted to really envelop myself in what it meant to be a designer.
Okay. So when, moms was getting you fresh for school and everything like that, at what point do you start wanting to like put together your own outfits and show your own, you know what I mean? Your own character and stuff like that, and talk a little bit about that. And was it like you getting compliments at school? You know what I mean? Talk a little bit about that, bro.
Yeah, I was in middle school, so my mom moved me out of Dorchester into the suburban area in Woburn. So when I was out there, I was the freshest black kid, pretty much. You know what I mean? Really the only black kid, but I was the freshest one there. So they would always say, yo, he has a fresh kicks on. Like, he got the new Jordans, he got the new 11s, he got this, that, and the third. Yo, he's so dope. So I got award, I think it was in 6th grade, that I was the best dressed. It was unofficial. I didn't get an award. But they were like, he's the best dressed. And so I had my graduation. They were like, shouts out to Ramsey. He's one of the best dressed, most handsome, most funny. And so I guess that took that out of, my childhood. And I was like, I'm going to run with this. I think this is my calling. So
that's fine. So where can people find you online? Like, what's the main way if people want to buy clothes? They hit you up on Instagram. You got a website. Talk a little bit
Hit
about
me up on Instagram, Present Clothing, present.clothing_. You can find me there. Or you can find me on my main page. It's Ramsey's World _23. If you have any questions regarding starting your own brand or anything like that, reach out to me, and I'll guide you in the right direction. I'll recommend some manufacturers and so forth and so on, Or if you just want to talk business or you just want to shoot the shits, that's where I'm at. Absolutely. Or you can hit us on our website too at present.clo.com.
So talk about what goes into the process of designing something. Is that something that you do yourself? Are you a big part of the design? And talk a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so I'm a big part of the design process of Present Clothing. Being that I'm the CEO and president, nothing that I don't see will obviously make it outside of production. One of the things that I do is I always source fabrics, like colors, fabrics are my main thing, and that all revolves around the seasons. You know what I mean? Certain seasons you want to dedicate a certain type of fabric for the people that's just wearing it, because some people don't want to wear nylon or something, et cetera, et cetera. And the color also matters during the season as well. All these different things go into a drop potentially, right? So the cut, the sew, the fabric, the weight, everything that goes into it. So I'm picturing all this at once. But I got to shout out to Virgil. I got some of his reads. I listened to some of his books. And I see some of his stuff, and I'm just like, he was on another level. Yeah. He was on another level mentally, and I drew inspiration from that. And I looked at fashion differently ever since I started studying him.
And rest in peace too to Virgil.
Shouts out to Virgil. Rest in peace.
So you say everything comes in front of you. So you have other people that design it, and then you got to approve of it too, or are you just solely the only designer? I guess talk a little bit about that. Yeah,
so I'm a designer. It starts with me first, like I said before, and then I pass it on, to a manufacturer, right? This particular manufacturer can range between 3 different sectors, right? You have Pakistan, which normal people do, China, some even Turkey, depending on what time and depending on the quality. China, best quality you're going to get, straight up and down. If you're looking to start a brand, I would say go to Pakistan if you don't have coins. If you got coins like that, go to China, because you're going to get your money's worth, straight up. But I know a lot of people starting out don't have those resources available, so that's why you go to Pakistan, because they have different things set up for people that can afford, which is like payment plans essentially, right? Okay. So this is the thing that was attractive to me starting the brand, because I'm like, I don't have any upfront costs to the brand. So what am I going to do to then get my items out there if I don't have the tools necessary? So I rely on them. So there's negotiating, there's some play, right, back and forth that you have to do with the manufacturer. Once the whole bulk order gets done, you have to supersede and supervise everything. Once it gets done, it gets approved, and it gets sent to you. So now from there, everything's your responsibility. That means marketing, that means reaching out to influencers, that means analytics, pop-ups, anything from that point on is mainly you. So we have a middleman, you would say, right, in the whole process, which is the manufacturer. Gotcha.
So when you say you order in fabrics, right, now is this like blank t-shirts, or are you actually getting like strips of fabric that have to be sewed yourself? I'm sure it's different for different things too, because you make more than just t-shirts, right? Talk a little bit about like talk a little bit about that. Like, you guys got to sew it, or is that outsourced, I guess? How does it work?
So, yeah, so the process pretty much goes like this. Most of the time we have blanks, right? The blanks that we have are already, just like your t-shirt, they're already sewn together. Now, if I'm reaching out to my Pakistan or even China manufacturers, depending on how I want my things cut and sew, they're going to do everything from scratch. Even a basic t-shirt, they're going to go cut and sew. So some scratch. They take the materials of what I desire and they piece it all together. But as far as me goes, I oversee all that, making sure everything is right, just like I want it to. I send them tech packs. I send them all these particular technical breakdowns of how I want my pieces, and therefore it gets done the way I want it.
Okay, cool. So when you do drops, is it like seasonal drops, monthly? I guess talk a little bit about how often that is, and then like, is there like limited editions? I guess.
Yeah.
You know what
So I do seasonal drops. Sometimes I do 2-3 different seasonal drops at a time. I know last year I was banging them out. I would drop, like, I wouldn't even get some of my return back. I would just sometimes deplete myself because I'm in such a creative space up here that I want to see it start to come out to fruition. And I'm impatient. That's one of my things. I'm like, I'm a little impatient. So I just want to get it out. So what I tell people is just like, be patient. Let you get your money back, because I learned the hard way. But going back to your question, I dropped, back in the day, I used to drop 2 to 3 different times during one season.
Okay.
And then going forward, I kind of dialed that back. So that's pretty much the time when I drop.
Okay, so another question too. You mentioned about different fabrics for different seasons, right? And I noticed too, my work shirts, it's been very hot, very thick. I think it's cotton. I don't know. Like, what recommendations would you make for shirts that, like, you know, you want to be cool in 90-degree weather or whatever?
Yeah. I think it just really depends on what you're doing. You know, you could be chilling at the house, working, going back for the mailbox, because you can get away wearing something that's like a French terry, if it's a light French terry, right, which is more of a thicker knitted material, like cotton. Cotton is more like looser, I would say, right? Think about the little, if you zoom into a t-shirt and you see that little stitch, the stitch is more looser, that's what we consider your 100% cotton. Whereas a French terry or any other fabric like that, it's more dense, it's more close together. That knit is more closer. So I always suggest people to go with a light fabric, like a jersey shirt, like a light jersey, or 100% cotton. You can't go wrong. Go 100% organic cotton. Those 3 right there, you can't go wrong. Okay, real light, real flowy.
That's what's up. So how do you go from someone who's like wearing clothes into someone who wants to make clothes, and then like educating yourself as much as you seem to be educated about the, you know, what you do about, you know, fashion and fabric and all that? How'd you educate yourself? Is it just strictly online? And when did you go from like, okay, now I'm gonna make clothes, and or like, at least not like as a thought, like it might not have been when you started, but like, when was that thought process begin?
From the very first, I would say from the very start, I started to like map things out. That's how my mom breaks down things. And so I guess going to your question, is how would I map everything out? I sit down in my room and I'm thinking all of like the most smallest things and how I'm gonna break those things down and build them back up, right? And so I guess I did my research online. So I started with my research online. I did my due diligence and also reached out to my sources around me. So my brother, Marcel, shouts out to him again. You know, I had to reach out to him because he used to sell T-shirts, and he knows. He used to work in a T-shirt company, a graphic designing facility. And so I reached out to him, and he gave me some insight and some information. So I kind of pulled from him and also did my own research too as well online.
Okay, so I want to get a little bit more into the design, right? Like the actual design. Is that something that you draw on paper, or is it something that you have a computer program and then you kind of do it like that? I guess kind of walk me through that process of how it works.
So I started my brand logo initially. I changed my brand name only once, right? I had it at first, and then I changed it, and then I changed the logo like 2-3 times, right? So in that process of just reinventing my logo, I used to draw a lot, like I said. So I was drawing it out, stenciling out, and then I brought it to a software called Kittle, right? Or even Canva. You go to those 2 websites, you can't go wrong. If you're starting out and you want to be like a designer or promo or whatever, if anything graphic related, go on Kettle or go on Canva, because that has what you need. You know, if you go on YouTube, any tutorial will bring you there. So that's why I took my plan on paper and I brought it into a more virtual, visual outlet, and then I got the logo, and I reached out to somebody else, and they gave me their, which is a 10-year experience graphic designer, and gave me their advice. So now we have the P with the crown on top, and that symbolizes, you know, when you're in your present moment, when you're really immersed in your environment, you know about things, and like a king, right? A king knows about his village. He knows about everybody in his village, right? So that's what the concept comes with. If you're present, you're king, right? You're standing on your throne. Absolutely. You're standing into your power.
I like that, man. Yeah. What are some like obstacles that you have encountered along the way, and like, I guess, how did you deal with them?
So first and foremost, I want to say there's some Pakistan niggas out there. I shouldn't say it, but like those ones out there, they know they scam me for over like a band.
Damn.
Over a band, and I was tight. I'm not gonna lie, I still am. Like I said, it's on site. I'm not gonna go there to Pakistan because I know they'll have like 40 AKs aimed at me right off the plane. Like, who you with?
Yeah.
But trust and believe, you come out here, that's a whole nother situation. But yeah, obstacles was just mainly getting scammed. Really, getting scammed. Getting finessed. Even people that you know personally be like, oh, you know. Especially family members too, you know what I mean? And people that are closely friends, oh, I'll cop, but they'll never cop. They'll always say your shit's fire, but if it's fire, why ain't you copping? You feel me? Right. Like, you gotta support small businesses and support somebody that's closest to you. If you saying it's fire, if I see a t-shirt out there that's $20 or $25 or $50, I'm shopping with you regardless, you know what I'm saying? If I see it and I like it, I'm getting it straight like that. So I don't think it should be much for people that's closest to support one another, especially if you know it's fire before it blows up. Get on it now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, how do you, like, what's your process now? How do you differentiate, like, what's a scam and what's not now that you've already been scammed once?
Yeah. So, I would say the way you interact with the person. Like, let's say, example, it'd be somebody domestically or somebody internationally. You deal with somebody internationally, you know, based off your experience in the past, how to come to them. You got to be direct, you know. And if they showing any red flags, like a lot of the Pakistani people, they'll sit up there and say, okay, yeah. Like, we got you. Like, do you really got me for real? Do you got what I need? And they'll say it because they want the sale. They want the order. You're talking about a lot of money. The transfer amount, the money still over here in America is worth more over there. So they're going to try to get, because the fast fashion was a thing, this was a money grab. So you'll see in Pakistan, there's factories everywhere they set up. They all the same. If you're an upcoming brand, you know, your DM is flooded every single week because all these manufacturers now seek you out as potential potential prey. Yeah. So they're going to be in your DMs telling me, oh, let's work together. But they just want your money. They don't really want to work. They don't want to team up. They just want to get your money and get on with the next customer. And I noticed some of them that I had didn't take an account of my creative ability, so I had to really cut them off.
Yeah, I hear you. My whole thing is that I pretty much think everything's a scam now until I verify that it's not, man. It's like,
you gotta leave that fine print.
Yeah, bro. You're not lying, man. So I'm gonna bring it back a little bit, man. So you said you grew up in Dorchester until you moved to Woburn?
Yes.
All right, so talk about that, right? What was the home dynamic like? Who was in the household? You have both parents in the house, siblings. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, man, it's been a minute. But yeah, I started my roots out there in Dorchester, Shafter Street, Washington Street, you know what it is. So I started my roots out there. My mom gave birth to me at Boston Medical, and my sister, she both moved us out at an early age, but we ain't really start to, like, you know, go to school and really live there. We lived basically in here. So as I said, I was born here and I was raised until I was like 10. Then I stayed the rest of my life out there in Woburn and stuff like that, adjusted to the school system and having a bunch of friends. Okay. The family dynamic with my father, he was staying in Roxbury at the time. So my moms and my pops were separated, but they were still kind of together, you know? Yeah. And so she would always check up on him, and I would go over, you know, to him on some weekends, et cetera, et cetera. So they worked that whole thing out. But yeah, I had a pretty decent upbringing. We all have challenges, especially growing up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And I just learned from him. I try not to let it stick on me too much and just let myself be who I am. And people was always just like, if you like what you like, don't be ashamed because where you come from. Like what you like and be good at it. You know what I mean? Don't be ashamed. So I just kept that with me. I just wanted to be myself.
So how were you like as a student in school? Did you do well in school? Talk a little bit about that.
Man, my teachers love and hate me. It's a love and hate relationship between them. Man, I like school. I really like school. I was good at it. You know, certain classes I favored more than others, like many people do. Math, it was like weird. It was up and down. Some years I like it. Some days I freaking hate it. But I would say most importantly, I always put my grades like ahead of everything. You know, even high school. Like I had a friend of mine at one point in time, and we said to ourselves, we're going to graduate with good grades. We're going to get up out of here, make our money, and do all that. So that was the plan. We didn't let no girls distract us. That was our set thing. Yeah, we had a girlfriend here and there, but for the most part, we were super focused and locked in. So I'd say, like, I was pretty good in school. I used to doodle a lot, going back to me being an artist. I used to tattoo on myself all the time. People around me, I used to be drawing pins and shit like this. Nice. I would doodle, sell my pictures on the side. That's funny. And it'd be like, I used to get caught up by selling pictures, you know, some of my drawings and stuff like that in school. And my mom was like, "Did you doodle again? Why they keep calling me?" I said, "Man, Mom, you have to understand, these people are boring."
Yeah.
But she ain't trying to hear it, you know, just make sure you put your head down, get the damn work, because I already got enough things to do at work. I don't need to be getting called up here for no doodling, no fighting, none of that. So I had to respect it, you know what I mean? She put me against the wall. Shouts out to Ma. That's all love. Always. But she had to, you know, we all got to get straightened out. So I was just like, I'm going to tighten up here.
Okay. So what about being like into art and everything? Were you ever into like the graffiti scene or anything like that? Is that something you know, or watch from afar? Or?
So not so much the graffiti scene. I respected it. I respect hip hop in general, in all of its elements. But I never really got into graffiti. I used to like try graffiti on paper, on pen, and on marker, but I never like actually tagged anything like that, or even had anybody close besides my cousin used to tag. Richie used to tag right out here in the street. I forgot that little hallway right there in Mass Ave.
Graffiti Alley.
Graffiti Alley right there. He had a sort of whole mural. I have a lot of my families did murals around Boston too as well, so I was inspired by them as far as art goes, and I was just trying to be like, try to fit in. So I would do my drawings in quiet, and I would show them like, look. And once they got the thumb up and the approval, I was like, yes, I'm in there.
Absolutely. So, I mean, having so many family members that are autistic as well, do you think that's something that's in like in the DNA, in the genes, and to what point, and what point can someone who maybe doesn't have it, do you think that they can learn it if they put in enough time? What's like your experience? Because some people just got it. I feel
that's
like
a fact.
they can
if
just
you got it, you got it.
They can just see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you can
paper.
see it, you can really achieve it, and that has to be revolve around your DNA, where you come from. It's epigenetics. You know what I mean? Do your research. But yeah, like I said, it's in you. It can be taught, but you gotta really be passionate about it. I've known people that have no like fashion sense, but they're inspired by me and what I do on a regular. And it'd be like, it's so effortless to you. You can just go into the closet and pick something out right quick in a matter of like 2 minutes, because you know you're late, and it'll come out fresh and put together. And I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I don't think about it. It's just in me. Right? But people inspired by that. I had friends, family, exes that was closest to me that once they spent some time with me, they found out it kind of weared off on them. Right? And some people that actually came out of that and came into the fashion scene even more, right? And they stepped fully in it, and they're like, yo, you inspired me, you changed me. And now like I'm reading fashion books, or like I'm looking at blogs, fashion blogs, and you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I'm honored.
Got you. So what was the story behind the move to Woburn? Like what was you know, your mom's reason for moving y'all, if there was a reason? Talk about that.
Yeah. So man, a lot of hood violence, a lot of street going on, a lot of shit going on with the family. She didn't want me to be a part of, like a typical mom would do. Wanted to move me up out that scene. And so she's like, you know what? She found a spot, and we moved out there, and there was only 2 black families out there, and we was one of them.
And that's a good age to move you out, right? Before, you know, start getting caught up in all that.
Yep, exactly.
So talk a little bit about that, right? You said, you know, family and all that stuff growing up, right? Was that something? Did you have family members dealing with the law, getting locked up or doing time, anything like that? Was that something that you saw in your family at all, or was that just not part of that?
Yeah, so it was definitely a part of it. Like many black families, like a lot of families, you always have that one bad egg, right? Or you might have a couple of them Jones. But, you know, we definitely had that on our family, I would say, you know, and she wanted to kind of keep me away from that as much as possible. Although she understood that was my family and that it was going to happen. So I wanted to just slowly expose myself to it. So my cousins, sometimes I would go over there, their house, and sometimes they come over here. So I would really go. I had family all through Boston. So some nights that she was working overnights, she'd, you know, go and we go to Roxbury and spend like, you know, a week or two. Or we go to Mattapan, excuse me. We go to Mattapan or we go to Hyde Park. And just, you know, all throughout. And I would spend like a day or a week or whatever the case may be. And half the time, some of those people would come out to the burbs.
Yeah.
But she was very selective of it because, you know, you not to bring that hood shit around them, you know, around them people, you know.
Yeah,
so
she stood on business with that.
Literally, she was not playing.
Any close calls with the law when you were out there hanging out? Did you get any altercations with the law or any arrests or even posted up or anything that could have, you know, been more or something like that?
Yeah, close calls, just close calls.
Yeah.
You know, thank the one up there for that, you know. But yeah, all my friends got knocked and stuff like that, but not me. I was thankful that it wasn't for me. It wasn't me, and you know, it didn't get close. My mom moved me out before I got a chance to really like grow into that.
Yeah.
But when I came back, it was supposed to be that.
So what was the biggest adjustment that you made during that move? Was it just the area, the school, academically? Was the work similar, different? Did you kind of have to adjust with the work? Was everything like where you were at this school? Did it transition well to or did you have to kind of pick up a little ahead or behind, or talk a little bit about that adjustment?
Yeah, so the adjustment was like, it was smooth after the first year. Of course, it was a little bumpy adjusting, but for the most part, it was cool. I feel like I said, showing up as myself, and I was somewhat, I guess, ignorant to racism, and I didn't know about it until I was really in it. And like, you know, you get older and you realize like that was racist, like that was fucked up. So I went back to that moment, you know, and I'm just like, wow. It only hit me when I used to be going to some of these people's houses for like friend dates, you would say, right? And my mom would be at work and I'd stay over there, and like I would notice the looks, and I would notice like some of the people going to corners talking shit, you know, like what is he here for and all this other stuff. And you know, those families that brought us in more than others, and I learned from that, you know what I mean? And it was a rough start, but it got kind of smoothed out. I knew my circle. I have discernment, so I knew who was right for me and who wasn't. So I tried my best to stay away from those people, and you know, really propelled towards people that, you know, had me closer, you know what I mean? Like really brought me into their friend group, brought me into their family, their house. And yeah.
Okay. So what about extracurricular activities? Were you into sports or anything like that, or anything after school with the school, or maybe not with the school? What was going on with that?
Yeah, so I used to go to mom after school. We'd go to after school program, either after school or we'd go to Boys and Girls Club, one of the two. And so those were a lot of extracurricular activities. I used to do basketball. I used to do, you know, like little bullshit, kickball, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like actual sports, I used to do Pop Warner at one point in time. Nice. And then I got pulled out of that. And then I did basketball for a while. And I was okay with it, you know what I mean? But I backed up off of that. My mom said, you need to start focusing more on school. So I was always an athletic person. I always try to, you know, involve myself into activities growing up, you know, despite of anything going on. I was just like, I would sneak out, go ahead and play ball with my boys and shit. But yeah, that's about it.
So do you think there are any lessons that can translate from sports to real life? And what do you think those may or may not be, like teamwork, for instance, or to talk a little bit about that? Because I think there's a lot there. I don't know if you agree or not.
So I was like, might have been 13, 14 at the time. Yeah, just going into high school. And I was like, Mom, I want to do boxing. She's like, all right, yeah, you sure about that? I said, yeah. One thing I love about my mom is like, she said, you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it. And if you really want to do something, I'm supporting it. And she always did that. And to have somebody like that in your life is so important. You know what I mean? For all the kids growing up, they know what it feels like to have a supportive mom or supportive figure out there always propelling you towards anything that you might have a hand in that could, you know, breed success. So when I was into boxing, I used to get my ass knocked out. Not knocked out, but I used to get my ass roughed up because I was a skinny little motherfucker. You know what I mean? But I managed to like get up, and that taught me resistance. That taught me resilience and determination of always getting up, no matter how hard life knocks you down. You just get back up. Absolutely. And it taught me teamwork because the people around you wanted the same thing as you, and they helped you. There was a lot of camaraderie in there as well. So shouts out to Eddie, my old coach back in the day, TPS boxing right there in Everett. They shut it down. A bunch of old flats now.
Broadway, right?
Broadway, yep.
Yeah. 16.
Right near Ferry.
Like yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
I lived in Everett for a little bit.
Yeah. So right by that KFC.
Yep.
I used to go there after.
And now there's a Popeyes. And
now there's a Popeyes
too.
and some other stuff, and the Harley Davidson's still over there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, man, shouts out to them, man. I love that.
So talk about the high school experience. You went to Woburn High. Like, what was that like, or where did you go? Talk about that.
So I went to vocational school in Wakefield.
Okay.
For the ones that do know me, they know they can fact check. I went out there and I spent my whole high school, duration, start to finish, and it was a trade school. So people don't know what the vocational school is. A trade school, so it offers a lot of opportunities for kids all throughout certain districts to come into that one high school and learn a trade as you're alongside learning, your academics as well.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good experience. It had its ups and downs, like a lot of high school experience does. And I was more of an extroverted person, So it puts you out there more, especially if you're like a certain type of person. If you're like, handsome and funny and just, a good person. A lot of people, and you're allowed to sit at every single lunch table there. Yeah.
What was the name of that school? I think I might have did some community service there. I think on the work release program and painted Wakefield Vogue. Is that the name of it? Do you remember the name of it?
Yeah, it's the Northeast Vocational High School in Wakefield.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are some of the vocations that you were taking? I guess did you have a favorite trade or something?
So my favorite trade going to my art. I met a dude at the time with my good buddy of mine. I met him in orientation, and we met orientation with the people that was in the area where I grew up in at Woburn High. And so before taking us to the bus to get to the vocational school, they had us there to figure out, what do you like, this career life planning, right? So all of the stuff like, what are you into? What do you like? Such and such, what you can see yourself doing. So he put us into a room, and I met him, and we started talking. It was like, I'm gonna be doing automotive. And immediately brought to me, like, back in the days to see my uncle, and he used to do car repairs in the backyard, in the garage. All the people used to come over there and just drop his cars off, and like 2 hours later come back, get their shit fixed. So I was like, I don't have that under my belt. So it sparked that thought in my mind, like, I can do this. So alongside of him and his passion, I kind of got carried into this. And so my whole trade was automotive, First it was, I think it was design visuals, then graphic design. So my third pick was my first pick because I didn't get picked for my first two. And so they picked the third, and I was happy with it because I'm like, okay, well, this is something I already considered anyway. Yeah. So I jumped into it. It's more hands-on. And one thing about me is that going into the high school and being the only man in the household with my mother growing up, I always wanted to be the man in the house. Like, that was my main thing. So I was like trying to put myself into things that were like subconsciously putting me into a position of a real man, because I always wanted to exemplify what a real man is. So I'm like, this is perfect. You know what I mean? Hands on, gritty, grease monkey, like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So, I locked in, and, 4 or 5 years into that jump, just went at it, gun hold, yeah.
That's what's up. So talk about the Vogue school, right? I mean, were there girls in there as well? And talk about, like, was there like a prom and everything like that? I don't know how like Vogue schools work. Like, I went to Cambridge Virgin Latin, and we have like a Vogue section of the school. Like, the whole basement is pretty, but it's like we're all still together. So like, you get prom and like dances and stuff like that. Like, what's the social aspect, I guess, of going to like a trade school?
Yeah, so it's pretty much set up just like a regular high school. You have proms, you have semis, you have all these things like a normal high school does. Only difference is now that you have to share your academics with a week of your shop, right, with your trade, you know. And in the beginning stages, you would like cycle more. It was more, I guess, oriented towards finding your trade. So they would cycle you through every week. Would cycle you through a different shop, right? Like dental and health, and see what you like, get your feet warm. But to your exact thing, your question is like, yeah, we operated just like a normal high school.
Okay. And what about like as far as sports? You guys have sports teams and stuff like that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the plan after high school? Did you have a plan? Talk about that. And did you graduate?
Yeah, so my plan was just to get out of high school, make the money, figure out what I wanted to do. I wanted to get out of high school doing the things that I wanted to do, which is what I want, which I loved, you know what I mean? And which was working on cars and just being in a space where I can creatively create things that I resonate with, And so that was my mission. You know, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I kind of knew a little bit. And so I said, maybe I'll go to college after this, you know, and I did graduate, you know, all years. And then once I graduated, I had to focus on my mother because my mom was diagnosed with a rare form of MS called Divix disease. It starts from the neurotic nerve from the very beginning into your left eye or right eye, depending. And then it kind of slowly progresses into something that's more inhibiting. And it enabled her to walk at the first time and it was literally at my graduation that it really sparked. So it was a life-changing moment for me. And it just made me grow up faster, I want to say. I was the most wisest person that you would say in my age because I had to grow up at a rate faster than a normal 18, 19-year-old kid out there, you know, especially with my past. And so this was all new, you know. My mom was a medical one. She used to work right there at Hebrew Life Center, right there in, I think it was Roxbury, and near Rosendale. And, you know, she was the medical one. I didn't know anything. She taught me as we went. So a lot of things that I found out now, I have medical experience because I had to take care of my mom at that age.
Wow.
And while we went to college and stuff like that, I was taking care of my mom. I was still scheduled to go to college because that's something she wanted me to do. And I said, you know what, Mom, I don't want to argue. I want to do what's best in both of our interests. So because of that, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. And let me go to college first. Let me go to college, test it out, see what I do first year, second year, maybe get an associate's. Once I get to 1-2 years and I'm out of there, then I'll decide if I want to stay to do whatever the heck I want to do, right? And so I was already scheduled to go to college when she was diagnosed. So right in high school, she was already literally in my graduation. She needed help to get to the stage, and so like it hurt. It definitely hurt, and it changed my whole perspective of life going forward. And so going forward, I was like, you know, I'm making my mission to make sure that she's good, and that what I've learned at high school, leading up to now, I can apply to get my mom in a better situation. You know.
So I mean, seeing her struggling with that and fighting through that, is that something that you could kind of get inspiration from, and the strength that she had to display to get there and go see you graduate and everything?
Yeah, it definitely inspired me, and I definitely took a lot from that. You know, one thing about her, she's not a giver-upper. She's not the person to just lay down and just be like, yeah, I'm going to take it. No, she's like, no, get the fuck up, you know, and keep going. You know, she's very, like, she's a Scorpio. So if you know Scorpios, they can be cool, like this and that, but don't get them pissed because they just, you know. And one thing that I got learned from her was just resilience. You know what I mean? And persevering through all the pain and persevering through all the struggle and keep pushing forward. And that just because we're going through this does not mean that we're not going to get this because we went through that. So I just stuck by her side, held on her tight. We both held on each other, and we understood some of the things I've done for her. A lot of people out there are caretakers will understand that no man or no woman should do to their own parent, but you do it because you need to, you know, and they need to be there for her. So, you know, it was a bittersweet moment, you know, especially when I started realizing stuff. Like, it really hit hard the first, like, 2-3 years in. And then after, like, the 4th, 5th, whatever, kind of settled in, I'm like, okay, now we're kind of coasting here. We're good. But, yeah.
And this is something that she's going to have to deal with for the rest of her life, or talk a little bit about that, I guess. Yeah. It is?
So this is a lifetime disease. It's not going to go anywhere. It can only get better. It's not going to get cured. I mean, unless there's something out there that I'm not aware of.
Right. Who knows what the future holds?
Right,
too.
exactly. Technology always
Yep.
tends to evolve and just succeed. But yeah, it's one of those things that stick with her. But it can get progressively better, and it can also get progressively worse depending on your activity, depending on what you do, because your life that you live could be benefit to you living here longer or living here in pain. You know what I mean? In suffering. So that's why I try to work with her every single day. Exercise, nutrition, mobility, stuff like that. And she's starting to get better. Before she was walking, like I say this one thing, and I brought my mom to not walking in a wheelchair to walking, to damn near running.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
I was on her. I was on her like she would be on me, you know? And I told her, I said, Mom, one day we're going to walk. You're going to take your steps, and those steps are going to lead to you walking fast, and that walking fast is going to lead to you running. Wow. You have to trust this. And it hurts in the beginning. I tell everybody that I train, because I'm a trainer too, I tell people it hurts in the beginning, but it pays off in it, you know? And so I tell her, I still on her now. Like she low-key like chilling out. I'm like, Mom, I can't get comfortable. Nah, you can't. You got to keep going. That's the thing. You got to keep going. Even when when you just want to relax, you got to do something.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, you guys must have a like tight relationship. Like, what's that relationship mean to you, man, and everything?
It means everything. It's why I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, she's the reason why I'm still here. She's my reason. She's my why, in every sense of the way.
Absolutely.
So I draw my inspiration from her, just being how strong she is. And just times that I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know my reason why being here. And I look at the mirror and I see the resemblance that I carry from my mom. And I'm like, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
So
it's nothing like that.
There's nothing
unconditional
like
love from a mother.
Yeah,
and not everybody has that too, because not all mothers are like that. But, you know, blessed to have like a mother that does, you know, seem to love you unconditionally. And, you know, I'm real tight with my mom too, man. It's like, shout out to the moms for sure, bro. So talk about the training, right? When did that become part of the story? And then like, what was your why? Because it's something that you were doing yourself and kind of seeing the benefits and wanting to help others, or talk about that.
So I started my health journey, fitness journey when I was like 10. I started lifting weights when I was 8. Peered back, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, like many people do. Just throwing weight around and shit, be like in the mirror, flexing.
Yeah, that was me. The only 2 workouts I did, I think, were bicep curls and push-ups. You know what I mean? Not knowing at all. No legs.
Literally, have little chicken legs and shit. And a lot of people brought up like through cartoons and seeing things on television, right? And they'll say like, all you got to do is bicep curls and look real like ugly in the mirror by doing this. And there's more to it. So like I started 8 and I started taking it serious when I was like 12 and 13. I got scared away from it because there was some hating people. I was like, oh, you know, if you lift weights like this, it will stunt your growth. So you always be short. And that's one thing I feared. I'm like, I ain't trying to be no scrawny, short little monk. Nah.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it stunted your growth though.
Yeah, thankfully I had stopped for a while.
Yeah.
So at that point I was just like, I'll come back at it. I'll slowly, and I started slowly getting into it. And at like 14, 15, I started taking it more serious and stuff. And ever since then, I just wanted to help people to get to their goals and just really just experience life the way God intended you to experience it in all its totality. No drugs, no alcohol being there, because I'm a person that I don't need none of that, and I can still have a good time. I'll still indulge, believe that, but I can still do it without. And I know some people that get so numb that they need to do it to have fun. They need to do it to feel fulfilled or a purpose or something like that. And no shame in them at all. I mean, you do your thing, as long as there's some balance. It's not taking over you, you know?
So, like, what got you into working out at such a young age? I feel like for me, like, I don't think I was that young, but it was like, I was like a wrestling fan. You know what I mean? Even now with the long hair, it probably all stems back from, like, watching the wrestlers growing up and just kind of idolizing and, like, wanting to maybe look like them. Like, what was your motivation to start working out? Was it about being an athlete, or?
I have to say the same thing that we share the same thing, bro. I'm telling you.
Yep, that's crazy.
I used to be in my drawers, like my little diapers and Depends, screaming on top of my lungs. WWE was WWF. And I'm screaming, I'm like, go Rock! I'm like, The Rock, funny. Rock! And I'm like getting mean when Steve Austin comes out, and I'm coming out the cut, and I'm like walking out with my vest on, and I was thinking I was the shit. I was a huge wrestling fan. I kind of grew out of it.
Yeah.
I still respect it. I still watch it to this day.
Yeah.
But that's what really drew my inspiration, like, to your set of men, to your experience, seeing that and be like, that's what a man is. That's what a strong man is. I want to become that.
Right.
You know, and my pops is like this skinny little dude, but he was a strong motherfucker, and you would think twice between you cross him, you know. But just resembling like that power, that strength, I wanted that. You know, it's like that's definitely driving.
No, just curious too, because a lot of people don't get into it. Some people never get into it, but not that early. So you had mentioned earlier, right, about the spiritual journey when you started that. So I guess talk about that. When does you start having this journey or taking it serious? I guess talk a little bit about that, and like what was that like growing up? Was like God potted, you know what I mean, big in your family, or was that something you had to seek and find on your own? I guess talk a little bit about the spiritual journey that you were referring to earlier.
Yeah, so basically what I was referring to was I started my spiritual journey even young. Like I always felt like I was connected to the source, like heavily growing up. Just like a lot of, many black or even families in general in the world, there's some religious roots, right? And whether you be Catholic or Christian, you're always, you're bombarded with that at a young age, right? You're conditioned to think this way because of your parents and what they believe in or what they were taught at one point. So it took some time for me to like really just self-reflect and see what I really believed in rather than what was told to me, what was taught to me, because it's like if I'm not connecting with it, or am I being taught it? You know, so I guess during my mom's process shook me up. And I went vegan for 3 years. During that process, I was on my spiritual journey heavy. I wasn't talking to like many females. Like I was talking to females, but I wasn't really like doing it because I was just trying to protect my energy. And I was into reading. I was into meditating. I was doing all these things. I was in different schools of thought. Towards the end of my whole thing, being a 5%er. If anybody knows what that is, Nation of Islam, the father Clarence the 13X, was the father of the 5%ers, which is like kind of like a derivative of Islam, right? Black American Islam. And just going through all these schools of thought try to get me closer. I guess in my mind, I was like, I'm going to get closer to the source, whatever that is. So yeah, I started agnostic. I was just like, I don't know what it is. I kind of don't believe in it, but I know there's something out there. It has to be. So I guess just trying to get closer to that and finding what that is was the driving force of why I went to so many schools of thought, why I went on this journey in the beginning. Okay.
So, I mean, we pretty much went through the past, caught up to the present. Now, talk a little bit about like the goals that you have moving forward, short term, long term. Seems like you seem to map things out, you know what I mean? So talk about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, the future, we always in the present, you know what I mean? We
Sure,
map it out, but we move it in the moment.
And plus, nobody guaranteed you tomorrow anyway.
Exactly, you know that? So, as far as the brand goes, we're going to expand so far out to even Japan, internationally, and I know that because that's the vision I've seen for myself.
Right.
You know, God has something to do with that. You know, I have to give praises to where it's deserving to be due, you know. And I said to myself that this brand is going to be an extension of the message. You know, people think it's just clothes. No, it's the message behind the clothes, which is important. I want people to get. This is a philosophy that I live by. And I want to do that and spread that through something like fashion, because in music, like frequencies are spread throughout the world, even galaxies, right? So we all have to come together to then push a certain message, right? Because in rap, there's a thing about perseverance. Same thing in just locking in with the people closest to you. And I think that's what my message represents. You know what I mean? Perseverance and solidarity between the people around you, closest to you, and appreciating that moment with those people and not letting one moment go by or taking advantage of it. So yeah, we see present clothing going international. We see it going global. We see it in a household name. You know, we see it going so many places so far. And outside my brand, I see my health. I see my journey. I see the people closest to me being better and succeeding, both health-wise and monetarily wise.
Absolutely. Hey, who knows? Maybe the brand will go intergalactic, man.
Right.
He brought up space. But no, I'm just messing around. But what about like short term? You got any pop-ups or anything like that? You got scheduled that the people or like any drops or anything like that in the immediate future?
Yeah. So drops coming out. We have a summer drop, our second summer drop that we done coming this year. I don't have it. This is our old joint right here. But if you tapped in our Instagram, you'll see we teased it a little bit over there. People know the streets are talking now. Streets are warming up. They understand that fire is about to drop, and the ground's already starting to shaking. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
yeah, so we want to drop that in a week. It'll be here, full effect, available for anybody who want to see this. If you're seeing it now, go over there right now and cop. Present.clothing_ or presentclo.com. And you'll find all the drops, and you'll be notified when we drop something or when we do a pop-up. I know later on tonight, I might be swinging over to a girl that I had met a little while ago. She said she's doing an event today. She's like, oh, let's come by and see what the event's like. And I said, I'm going to come by and may sell some things too. So as far as pop-ups go, we have a pop-up July 26th at Red Carpet District, 99 Mammoth Road. Shouts to Anna. Shouts out to the city for holding it down. They have a store boutique out there that is a platform for different artists and different clothing brand owners within the city and within not just the city, internationally too.
Yeah.
There's people out there that are coming from, down south, and they have their clothes out there. So if you're looking for something fresh, unique, that's never been seen before, come over here and shop with us at 99 Mammoth Road. We have a shop out there. Present Clothing has a rack out there, so you can shop in person, see how that joint feeling on you. It's like my man's over here. How's it feel?
I love it. No, I love it, bro.
Yeah.
I love it. It feels so good. It feels comfortable. Like hugs the body correctly.
Definitely.
Man.
So like quality is one thing that we pride ourselves on, alongside of the message.
Absolutely, and yeah, I was just gonna bring that up about like physical. If you were in any physical stores, but are you interested in if people maybe have a store and they would like to get like your clothing in there? Is that something you'd be interested in? And talk about talk about that. And talk about what that means to have your stuff in a physical store as well as online. I mean, it's the online era, but still, some people walk by a store, may want to go in. This is Massachusetts. This is a big college state. We get people from all over the world, all over the country. You know what I mean? Just because it's in Mass doesn't mean it's have to be all Mass people. So talk about how you initially made that transition into the stores. Was that somebody you knew? And talk about how cool that is, I guess. It seems cool to me.
Yeah, definitely. So I started my journey into Red Carpet from shouts out to Matt at Decoded. Big shouts out to him. It had it not been for him, I wouldn't have been in the store to begin with. There was so one of my guys, Jay, they do a annual Culture Day event, and it's hosted by them, and it's all throughout Boston. Last one was, I want to say it was by Soho Station right there, I think near Cambridge. So we was out there, and that's where the whole idea came about. I talked with Matt, head owner and CEO of Decoded Clothing. Check them out. And so we talked about it. He said he has some stops over there too as well. So he kind of bridged the gap between myself and Anna, the store owner there at Red Carpet. So she scheduled something. We went over a phone call. She said, we love your message. We love your clothes. We want you to come by and just check you out. See if you are good for the team. So, went there. Shouts out to my lady. My lady and I went over there. And we was just like, yo, this is what we got. Told her about the message. Told where we see ourselves now, or where we see ourselves in the future, short and long term. And she loved it and said, you know what, you need to be a part of the family. Brought us on like the same day. We put our clothes up the same day, ironed it, everything. They went on the rack, and we had a sale that same day. And so it was super freaking motivating, super inspiring. And so I just took that with me, and I was like, we're going to run with this. And it feels so good, man. Yeah. It feels like you're being acknowledged. It feels like your shit is actually dope, rather than people saying it and not copying, but people actually copy.
That's fire. So, I mean, I bring a lot of guys up here that, been locked up, and, some of us mess up pretty bad and kind of got to, recoup from that. You seem to stay away from all of that. So, like, if you would attribute, like, that to, which I'm sure it's not just one, but, like, what would be the main reason why you think that you was able to kind of stay out of trouble? Was it because you weren't doing illegal things? I mean, the mom seems to be a big part of it. Location changing. So I guess talk about, like, what do you think it was?
So growing up, again, everything sources back to being the man that I want to be, that I aspire to be. And that man's on a straight line. Now, he falls off sometimes, but he's still on that straight line.
Yeah.
And I seen things growing up that I didn't want to be, and I seen the things that I did want to be. And I think that took a lot from me. I saw my mom being, and my location being the anchor of me staying on the right path. I seen alcohol and drugs and what that could do somebody's decision making and making them do shit that they know damn well they shouldn't have been doing in the first place. But we all make mistakes. We all grow, and we all grow from those things. So understanding that, I was like, nah, I'm not finna be another statistic. I'm not finna be another, another person out here doing this shit. And there's no shot to people like that that have been on that journey. They came out better, such as yourself. You come out better after that. And so I was just like, I'd rather not go that step. I'd rather not go that step and just keep my head straight and just focus on something that is, like, I don't know, just lucrative. You know what I mean? And so I just focus on my money, focus on staying straight, staying away from people that was bad news, I had bad energy about them, and that was it.
So, I mean, you seem to have seen a lot. So, like, what advice would you give to the youth, man? Because there's a generation out there right now, young men and women too, that seem, I don't know what it is. They seem pretty lost. I don't know if it's the internet and certain algorithms are kind of promoting certain stuff. Like, I guess, what's the message that you would give to the youth out there about, staying out the streets and all of that, bro?
Yeah, just be true to yourself. You know what I mean? First and foremost, a whole bunch of people are talking about they want to shoot this up and shoot this up and all that sort of stuff. And I want to be bad. I want to be down. It's like, you don't always got to be like the next person. You can just be yourself and be cool with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody trying to be like somebody else, and that has a lot to do with social media. It has a lot to do with this media in general and what they see next to them. Like, you see, okay, well, my cousin's doing this gang shit, right? And he's closest to me, and he's in the physical. I touch him, I have conversations with him every day. So they can kind of, like, I guess, be more immersed in it. They can feel it more. So when they see it on this, like, it's a no-brainer. If they're doing it, they ain't doing it, I should do it. So just be yourself. Don't let no one else influence you in any other way. When you sit down and say that, like, you know what, I want to do this, art, whatever the case may be, or music, then do music, do art. But you don't always have to associate that with the bad stuff. Stay straight because, if you believe in God, I'm going to use this as a reference. They say, because I think everything is applicable. If it makes sense and it's applicable, then despite who's saying it, I'm apply it to my life, right? They say, the road to heaven is a thin line. It's very narrow. The road to hell is very wide. It's very broad. So being said that, it's hard to stay in the right path. You have everything coming at you, 20 different steps, especially if you're young. You have social media, school, outside influence. You have your family that might be influenced. You have all this shit. It's hard to block all that shit out. So I say find something you're passionate about, lock in, and don't let nobody else drive you off of that.
Absolutely, man. So if someone watches this and they can only, I mean, you had said a lot of things, but if someone maybe they could only get one thing out of it, what's the one thing you would want someone to get from your story, hearing your story?
I would say, for my story, I would say just be okay. Just know that it's okay of being who you are, and that's it. You don't have to show for no one else. Just you. Just be you. That's it. That's all I tell people to be. Don't be nothing extra. You don't got to improve. You don't got to read self-help books and all the bullshit they try to feed you to try to be a better person. Don't fix you. You are you. Be that. Because there's going to be people out there that might not like you for who you are, but they're going to be people that do, which is why they say, family is okay, you're immediate, but they're not always your family. You could find family outside of your circle. You'll find closer people that you have never fucked with in your life. You never thought you would fuck with, but you would find them being more closer than an actual family and doing much more for you.
Absolutely.
It's because you were you the whole time and you weren't trying to be nothing else.
Exactly. You'd rather have people, hate you for who you are than like you for who you're not. You know what I'm saying? And then it's all fake and you got to put all that up. So I appreciate you coming through. I guess if you had any last words for the audience or maybe something you wanted to touch on, we didn't get a chance to, now's the opportunity. And there we go.
Shouts out to Mort Beasy. Shouts out to Artist Supreme. Shouts out to Blue Moni. Shouts out to Brady Barney. Shouts out to all my artists out there, ones I've done business with, that I'm going to do business with. But that new joint Mort just dropped, man. Marksman, that shit go crazy. I was listening on the way over here. That shit is fucking bananas, yo. I'm telling you. So y'all look out for all the new music coming out of them. Looking out for the clothes for me, all the merch. We're dropping so much shit. We're doing collaborative things too as well. So just stay tapped in, you know. Just stay tapped in. A lot of good shit's gonna come.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through. Guys, you heard it right there. Guys, it's the Bounce Back Podcast. It is what it is. What's next? That's what you make it. On that note, we're out of here. Peace.
Bounce back, you got a moment when they see you